You're listening to She's Got Drive podcast, the podcast that inspires women to be the driver in their own life for the life and stories of Black women with drive. And I'm your host, Shirley McAlpine. I'm a business consultant and executive coach and a leadership facilitator working with people and organizations live their lives by design and not default. Welcome back to another episode of She's Got Drive. And in this episode, I'm featuring one of the designers that I met at Essence Fest. Her name is Kristin Fraser of Trèfle Designs. I'm excited to bring her to you. I was kind of walking around Fashion House at Essence and came across her, started talking to her. I was like, wait a minute, I have got to interview you. And had an impromptu interview in that moment. There is a little bit of background noise, but not so much. You know, you should be able to kind of hear our conversation fairly clearly. I hope that the background noise isn't too distracting, but she's such a lovely woman. She's inspiring in the way that she's thinking. And it's just what's really great about this interview is the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and real in this conversation. And you really get a sense of how she has got to where she is and how she's building her business. So let me tell you something a little bit more about her. She started Trèfle Designs in 2008 and focused primarily on swimwear for women. And after a few years, she had a thought of actually starting swimwear for children. And she called that Trèfle 284. So that was really aimed at girls. And this was shortly followed by a resort wear collection for women that really has a kind of like a whole head to toe, which is what I observed, which what I met. You know, it's this beautiful, stunning resort wear. I mean, really. She has shown her clothes in Guyana and New York. She's been featured in Ebony magazine, Essence magazine, Marie Claire as well. She has celebrities who have worn her clothing, such as Beyonce and her daughter Blue Ivy, which obviously catapulted her company to another level when Beyonce was seen wearing that, and then it was in all these magazines. She has been recognized by getting an award of Caribbean Excellence in Fashion in Washington, D.C. by Carib Nation Inc. as well. You're going to love her. I'm going to hand it over to Kristin Fraser. My podcast is I interview Black women about their success and how do they achieve their success. So whilst we have different levels of success and we're always achieving, stretching for the next thing, you being here
is the next thing.
Is your next thing.
Yes.
And it's a big accomplishment for you, like it's a marker. So, and there'll be other people out there who want to do that. So.
My name is Kristin Fraser. I represent Trèfle, which is based in the British Virgin Islands. We are a company that specializes in swimwear, resort wear, accessories, and home goods.
How did you come all the way from the British Virgin Islands to show your collection at Fashion House in Essence?
Well, I can just reel it back a little bit more for you. I've been designing since the age of 7, and it's been
Did you say
7?
Wow.
7, sewing since 7, draping, pattern making. I didn't even know what those terms were at that age, but I come from a family of seamstresses and tailors, and so yes, and everybody sews.
Yeah, right.
And so when it was time for me to take it to the next level, because it was so embedded in me, I decided, okay, I want to actually create a label and make this a business, which is great. And so I've always had the thought in my head that I want to represent the British Virgin Islands and be an ambassador and also represent my brand on a global scale. One, because the country only has less than 28,000 people population.
Is that really?
That is it. And so when you have such a small island, it was
that is
very... Essence has over 500,000 people here.
Right.
So you can imagine. So I have no choice but to branch out with what it is I'm trying to accomplish with my swim and resort wear. So it was automatic for me. And I love a challenge. I love new experiences. I love different cultures. I love meeting people. I'm very sociable. Very sociable. Right. And I'm not a shy person, and so I knew that I had to get my brand out there by any means necessary, whether it was participating in fashion shows, doing pop-up shops all over the world. I mean, I've had the opportunity to represent my brand in New York, in St. Lucia, in Bahamas, in Guyana, in Portugal, in London, all over the place. And over the course of 10 years, going on 11 now, I would say that I have been able to build the brand to a point where the name is getting a little bit more notoriety now. I have manufacturing finally, because I'm also a designer that has so many challenges, and because the country is so small, I have to import everything and then export everything. It's very expensive. And so you just have to find creative ways to kind of let your product and your work speak for itself. And so just getting out there was the way, like it's the only way I know. And we also have a family business at home, of which the company is named after, that my grandmother started. And so I had a little bit of business background as well. So I had a nice eclectic mix of I would say different seasonings in a pot that kind of brewed me to bring me here to Essence. Over the course of the years, I've also had the opportunity to dress people like Beyonce. I've had the opportunity to partner and collaborate with U.S. cell phone case company called OtterBox, where they have my prints on their phone cases, which is a big deal. So I've had
that
several,
sounds familiar. Look at that.
I've had several markers.
That.
You seen the print?
I've seen that. Oh, right.
So that's a great marker. And so, as you spoke about markers, that this is an awesome marker. Beyonce wearing my pieces in 2014, and her daughter Blue Ivy was a marker.
Oh, really?
And being able to take a trip to Portugal and represent my brand along with some bigger brands like Ted Baker from London and all these bigger brands in Portugal, Spain, and speaking to the universities there, and just kind of being me and telling people what I love.
How are you doing it? Because this is fantastic. How are you making it happen? There are many design. It's a tough industry. It's a tough industry. Look at your face. It's just like,
because it is.
Yeah,
I usually get that question because you're like, first of all, where do you live? Well, I live in Tortola. So you actually live in your home country? Yes, I do, and I operate from Tortola. And they're like, okay, and then you dressed Beyonce. Yes, I sent her pieces and she wore it. Great. So how do you get it done? Well, I think for me, I've had a solid business plan. Sometimes I stray because opportunities just come out of nowhere. Right. But for me, again, I think it's just me knowing that I have to get my brand internationally because I come from such a small country. I have no choice but to find the opportunity. Right. And so when I find opportunity, I take a hold of the opportunity. Or, for the most part, I would say I create the opportunity. So with me actually getting to Essence Fest, it wasn't just, I got the opportunity to do Essence Fest. Whatever I envision in my head that I want to see for the brand, I make it happen. Like I create the opportunity, and I will build the door, and then knock on the door, and then, in that type of way. And that's just kind of how I do it, how I work. Networking as much as possible. I am not a shy person, so I will walk up to you and say hello, and with my personality, my boyfriend likes to say this, it's your personality that sells you a lot, actually. So with my personality coupled with my sense of fashion style, networking, and just me creating opportunity, I think that's what has gotten me to this point, to be honest, and just investing in myself and believing in myself. A lot of people, sometimes they don't realize that in order to create the opportunity or have the opportunity, you have to invest. I heard about Essence from a while now in terms of trying to participate, but I got the call last week Tuesday, and I made it happen.
Kidding.
Last week Tuesday. I'm right here. I had to make it happen, and I had to make it work, and I had just launched this collection. If I didn't launch this collection, I wouldn't have been able to come because I really wouldn't have product, because I hardly had product here left, but I had to make it happen.
So there is so much there, there is, you talked about your vision, and then you really start to look for where the doors are.
Yes.
You start to open, you're knocking on those doors, you're creating those doors, you're opening those doors.
Yes.
But the other thing is you're willing to take risks.
I am. That's what I'm saying, the investment.
Like, no kidding, getting into action.
Oh, yeah.
You seize an opportunity.
One time.
Right.
It's either going to happen or it's not. And what's for you will be for you. I was just telling my friends
my mum
back
used to
here.
say, what's for you won't go past you.
No, it's for you. And, I like I said to you before we came on, I literally held a sale because I saw the opportunity and I said, this can be something big. I want to connect with the Black community more. And I'm going to have a sale, and then I'm going to take the money and invest it in coming to Essence Fest just as an onlooker, just to be a part and experience it. And next year, I'm in it.
And here you are.
Here I am. Here I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Because I love my mum was a seamstress.
Yes.
And
love it.
I started to learn to sew when I was 11.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't follow the path that you have followed, you know.
It just stuck with me.
You, this is
It's stuck
fabulous.
with me. My mom has been very inspirational as well. It's amazing, and you know, and so once you reach to a certain point, I might not have all the money in the bank in the world, you know, but I feel that I've just to be able to have this opportunity to be in the first ever fashion house for the 25th, like it could have been last year, but that wasn't the 25th. This is like a mark.
It is a mark.
And I'm a part of the mark, you know, and the BVI is a part of the mark. And so when you have the support, if you look around, you can see the girls are wearing the product. They came from the BVI, you know.
Your clients?
But yeah, they're my clients. And
they
were coming. They didn't know I was coming. And then when I made the announcement, they were like, oh, you're going?
Oh,
you know,
so
we'll be there.
Yeah,
they come to all my events.
Stunning.
Yeah.
In
so
your
they
clothing.
messaged me and they were like, should we wear it? I was like, of course wear it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's just, you know, when your brand gets to a certain level and you have the credibility now and you're still building because now you need a little bit more capital, et cetera, you want to collaborate. And I'm a firm believer of if I reach to a certain level and I can do that, I'm going to bring somebody with me.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of collaborations.
Okay. Is that the bags?
So that's the bags.
Okay.
So I collaborated with a company called Sea Star out of New York, and they absolutely love my product, and I love their product. And so they put my prints on their product.
The print is...
And so and they're sold in Nordstrom's. They're in over 100 boutiques, and you see the kind of doors that would open for me automatically just because of
the collaboration.
I gotta try to stand out just a little bit more. From the Caribbean without being too literal. Because everybody thinks the Caribbean and they just think these big Hawaiian shirts or something. I'm like, no. Just easy, breezy, subtle and simple. Yeah.
I love that you really are thinking broadly around the range.
Yes.
It's just really great.
Yes, I am. All my swimwear is made out of European lycra as well because of the quality, the finishings, everything. Again, seamstress turned designer.
Right.
Has to be
right.
You know
your fabrics.
Because if somebody buys something, it also represents the country.
Right.
And it needs to be done right. So price points are varied. I want to make sure of all that. So price points are varied so everybody can have a little bit of something.
Right.
And I try to, I see my brand on par with other brands like Mahi and L Space and Gotex, that type of, but without it being $300-$400. Like the most you'd pay is $160 for the suit. So I want to make sure that the good, comfortable range. And for me, importing everything, and I do low minimum. So 2 to 3 pieces of each size. That's it.
And so people have a unique
exactly
piece as well.
And I don't the plan is not to get to mainstream so big department store. The plan is to be in maybe 100 boutique stores across the world, but no major department stores.
Right.
Because that just gets
you
really
want to
big.
be able to keep
I want to feel I want to keep it very niche, keep the quality great, and just make sure I can deliver. Unless it's another collaboration. like Otterbox, I didn't have to do too much. You know,
you did the design and they dealt with the production.
Yes, they dealt with everything, right? And this is the first one they did, and they've never been so bold. I promise you, they've never gotten so bright. And I had to pitch myself. And the owners of Otterbox own an island in the BVI, and I met him. And so when I met him, he said to me, I heard about you. Here's my card if you ever have any questions. So me, of course, I'm doing my new collection, and I'm like, I met the owner of Otterbox, and I love Project Runway, and they had a season where Dom Streeter won, season 12, and they had a challenge. One of their challenges was to design a print, and then the winner of the print would get their on a phone case. Yeah. So I said, I wonder if they do that for international. So I pulled out his business card, and I emailed, and I sent up a proposal just in the email, just in the body, and I was already doing my own question case. I just wanted something simple. And I said, I'll just ask. Weeks go by. I was like, no worries. You won't know if you don't ask. Right? Weeks, I'm telling you, 6 weeks. And then I get an email out of the blue. Oh my God, Kristin, thank you so much for your email. So sorry it took so long for me to get back to you. Of course we'd love to work with you. Literally. It's like, is that all that takes? And then the January, I'm flying to their headquarters. What? April, I have this. And April, I get the call, and they're like, "You're gonna be in 2,200 stores in Verizon. They love your print."
It's so beautiful.
And then, look at what they did as a surprise. Look at what they did as a surprise. They
and
put me in there. Yeah, I didn't know. I did not know. So it's kind of fun.
And your picture is in there.
And this phone case has been in their top 5 SKUs for the past 2 years. This particular print.
Oh.
So you can imagine how much money they made. So after this happened, then the hurricane happened, and so everything was gone. Hurricane Irma.
Right.
And they came back and they said, "Do you want to do another run?" I said, "Sure." And so we came up with Anegada.
Nice.
Inspired by the pink flamingos in Anegada. So it's the same thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that is
So they gave me
good.
3 prints in total, which is kind of fun.
And it's also, you know, you're sharing so much about your business acumen, your seizing opportunities, you're thinking of it. The other thing I say is there's no shortage of ideas.
Yes.
It's, are you willing to do the work to execute the idea?
I couldn't,
you know,
let
and
me
you're
tell
willing,
you.
you're like, as you said, all he can say is no.
Yeah, and you know what?
And
I
then
got
guess
so
what?
many
He said
no's
yes.
about 5-6 years and still getting a lot of no, and I'm okay with that.
You're always gonna get some
It's
no's.
quite fine.
Right.
No is fine. I got accustomed. In the beginning, I was like, oh my God, it's so disheartening. And then I realized, no, Kristin, it just wasn't for you. Once you start to accept that, you take the no, you fuel it into something positive, and you keep going. And what's for you will be for you.
Right.
Simple.
And you're thinking really broadly is
Yes,
the
I
other
am.
thing.
I always think about the bigger picture, and then once I see it, so I saw Essence, and then I reel it back to work towards getting to that. Versus, okay, what's happening now? Do it now. I think way out,
Right.
and then I reel it back.
I talk about that all the time. I'm a coach, and one of the things I talk about all the time is when I'm working with people, the moment they can vision it, I know, okay, game on.
Yeah.
It's when you
Ready.
can't see it. If you can't see it, you don't know what you're reaching for.
Right.
And
And then you're all
that
over the
vision's
place.
not going to keep driving you.
Yes, ma'am.
But that is you have spoken that so beautifully, and you are manifesting the thing that you're seeing.
And
that you want.
I feel like I've been doing it for 30 years. It's only 11, but it's been kicking my butt. But it's been a very, very interesting and not regretful kind of wave that I've just been riding. So 1 minute I'm doing things with Autobox and I'm in 2,200 stores, and Verizon picked me up, and I'm over here and I'm over there.
Oh.
And then the next minute you lose $10,000 over here, and then the next minute you're up 15K over here, and you know. So it's a really interesting. Yeah, but that's the industry, and once you accept that the industry is a serious, you have to be mentally okay with everything, the setbacks, the pitfalls, the ups, the downs, the successes, the backlash, the negative connotation, the hindrance, whatever it is. If you know all that, the speed bumps, and you're okay with handling it and being prepared to handle whatever, then you're good. I'm telling you, I got that email, and I said yes, and realized I said yes, and I don't know how I'm going to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm going to get there.
And look at you, you're here today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are awesome.
Thank
Doing
you.
awesome work.
Thank you. I'm a pusher, and positive pushing, and this is not a hobby. It's not a craft. It's a business, and I would love to see more people embrace, the brand and understand where I'm coming from and appreciate it, like my clients do. Like they
like
should.
really
And there's more
stunning.
coming. There's more coming, and they're wearing the product too. So I was like,
So
everybody
then,
wear
are
it,
they
great.
all going to be in the? Are they all going to be in the
I
fashion
know,
show?
right? I want to tell her, because she was saying I can choose whoever I want. And I'm like, can I choose my BVI people? That'd be kind of cool, because some are wearing the BVI hat. And
I think
my flower
that'd be
crowns,
great.
And I'm gonna ask them, and I'm the last show, so they should just let me.
But also,
just let me do that.
if you've got whoever you want up, then you can have the models sitting in the audience. You could have a mix, right?
Yes, because my other friends are gonna come
could
sooner or
mix it
later,
up.
and if I'm 6 o'clock, and so we can sit in the audience, and they'll be like,
And then there's people
and they'll
who-
be like,
because
that
they'll
the
see
same?
themselves reflected on the catwalk.
Exactly. Because I itemize, I don't do all size 4. I can't do it because it's not a realistic picture and people can't really visualize. But if I put a size 4, 6, 8, 12, or 14, like this is a size 14, and I have a model for that.
Beautiful.
And then, because most of the women aren't a size
that
2.
size.
And so I have to think about all of that.
Because
So-
the thing is I think it's such an important thing as well. It's like the message that you put out as
and
a
the type
designer,
of people my
your client is.
exactly.
Yeah, so when
Exactly.
if I see it on someone, I'm like, oh, that's not going to suit me. But
Right.
It's completely you're designing for them in mind, and they can't see it unless you put it
exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Yay!
Congratulations and thank you so much.
I'm excited.
For being a guest.
I am so excited. I might not see me right now, but I am
you look excited.
No, because I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here. Listen,
you made it.
Yeah.
You did it.
The premiere of the Virgin Islands also sponsored me to come here, which is amazing.
What?
Because, once if you're in the arts, fashion, music, drama, dance, the British Virgin Islands is so small. We're always trying to market, and they're now trying to market more than just pretty beaches and the sailing and the diving and the snorkeling. There are people doing so many amazing things that represent the BVI when they go away.
Right.
Other than that, and sports. So they're now paying a lot more attention to the arts and to people like myself. And so they were like, sure, we'll sponsor you. And that's how I made it.
That's how you did it?
That's how I did it.
But you had the connections in order to do that, which you must have
For
before.
With the premiere?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know everybody.
Yeah, right.
But it's 10 years of building.
Exactly.
Yeah, the premiere is from my district, and he's been a supporter from day one. So he's seen my story all these years. So he was and he just got elected as the premier. So he was like, we got you. But it's something great.
Yeah,
so it just worked, and everything worked in time. So I'm a firm believer of that.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it just happened, and he sponsored the amount of acts, the whole thing.
The other thing that I think is when there is ease, like you got the call, and then that showed up, and whatever showed up in order for you to be here. When there's ease and grace, then you are on your path.
Yes. And so no matter what happens here, just for me to even be here amongst everybody and meet so many people and network, I'm fine.
Yes.
I am so thankful. They told me, they said, you're just so easy to work with. I said, because I'm thankful.
Because you're great.
They could have chosen anybody from the U.S., anywhere else in the world, and the select few that they chose, and Trèfle was one of them. I'm not even going to complain. It's just an honor. So.
Well, it's been an honor talking to you this morning, and I'm gonna, thank you so much for being willing.
Problem.
Being willing. Can I give you a hug?
Yes.
Yeah,
we do hugs. We do hugs.
Yeah.
My little flower crown. I'm glad I put that.
I am so happy that we met. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
I hope that you've been inspired to shift gears in your own life. I think of all the things that we talked about, the thing that stood out for me about Kristin is her willingness to take risks and her ability to seize the moment, to see when an opportunity is really sitting in front of her. And I mean, she creates opportunities too, but to really look at that and go, I'm just going to go for it. She has a kind of I'm just going to go for it attitude, a go-getting attitude, which I suppose is the life as an entrepreneur, but that energy that she had was evident. And the other thing was, she is willing to just try things out and be willing to get a no. And if there's a no, then she just keeps it going. She makes requests, and she's like, the worst thing that can happen is they say no. And as much as we know this in theory, it really doesn't necessarily stop us from stopping ourselves from doing the things that we know that we want to do or we know that we have to do. So thank you, Kristin, for being willing to step in the moment, to do an interview and be a guest on She's Got Drive. I really appreciate it. It's just, as I said, her designs are beautiful. So check out her designs online. You can buy her stuff online as well. And then all the links to the various links to be in contact with her will be in the show notes. If you are enjoying She's Got Drive, then can I ask that you head over to iTunes and rate and review the show, because it's what makes a huge difference to us in growing the show and in having more people listen to She's Got Drive. It's essential to our growth. So I would love if you would rate and review, obviously 5 stars, the show. If you want to get in contact with me, don't hesitate to follow me on Instagram, to find me through my DMs, my direct messages on Instagram. You can also contact me at She's Got Drive Facebook page, or you can go head over to my website, shirleymcalpine.com/contact me, and get hold of me through there. I am loving the messages about this new She's Got Drive with She's Got Drive episodes, my existing interviews, as well as my new short. I got some really positive feedback around that, and so I was really happy about that. And so thank you so much for being in contact. She's Got Drive is produced by Cassandra Voltalina. The music is by the awesome all-female band Blonde. The song is called Circles. Until next time, thank you for listening. Go well and stay well.